What's up, man?
Chilling, man.
We going to school? You picking me up in a bus or what?
It's a short bus. I hope you don't mind.
Damn.
All right, what's going on? This is Red Heart, huh?
Yeah, this is
The unofficial.
It's the whole feeling about just raw horsepower under your foot. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
I have battery packs for these because these are my shoulder rigs. And I just found a way to mount them up. This is what I shoot the other shows with. Yeah, so let's kick this off. What's up? Welcome back to Burning Tires. I am your host, Greg Leone, and it is a Buscast. We're here today with special guest, MYLES BAUTISTA. Man, I'm excited to sit down with you. Record breaker, front-wheel drive. Just so many landmarks and so many things that he's innovated throughout the years. I'm so excited to sit down and tell this story. And I've been there with you in a lot of these different places, Battle of the Imports and whatnot. So it's really cool to go through life and go back and tell this story about the rise of the sport compact. And essentially that's what we did. We created something that didn't exist. We created a subculture of a subculture that just no one even thought was possible. And the physics just wasn't with us. Front wheel drive, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right?
Incorrect wheel drive.
Incorrect wheel drive.
Cannot be done.
Right? And then the whole no displacement for displacement.
Yep.
I'm sure you heard that a lot growing up.
Make it up and boost.
Make it up and boost. All right, well let's start at the beginning. MYLES is a amazing fabricator, grew up a huge business, broke some pretty major landmark records, is also a father, a husband, right? A brother to a lot of us. You know what I mean? And you've done some pretty cool stuff. So
They're all dropping like flies lately for some reason.
oh man, I mean
Once you hit 50, you start subtracting friends. I think I have 3-4 friends in 2022 and counting. It's just crazy.
Well, I mean that's the big part of the reason why I want to sit down and talk to our generation, because it existed before there was. We didn't have phones in our pocket. We didn't have cameras in our pockets, and we didn't really document a lot of this.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the stuff you did got documentation because you're breaking records and you're running series, and you have a lot of stuff from that. But from the early days, I mean, think about Compton street races in the 90s. Think about all Ontario and Sylmar and all those places that we would go and street race. That what do you have from that era?
You know what? Actually, nothing now, but I had boxes and boxes of pictures because I started a company back then called importracing.com.
I remember that.
And remember the forums and the shit talking and
yeah.
Who would have thought, right? Something like that was gonna blow up into a Honda Tech.
Right.
And now it's damn, all that stuff I did that stuff not for business but just for the love of the sport.
Right.
And now it's what Honda Tech got bought out for a couple of million how many years ago, and
I know.
It's all about forums because forums always grows when people talk shit to each other.
Right.
Nonstop. So
It's like pre-Twitter.
yeah,
That's what Twitter is now.
And so when I took a bunch of pictures of all the races at the race, the street race and all this stuff, I kind of lost that with all the houses that that got foreclosed.
That's too bad. That's too bad, man. Because that's like, but that's the thing is like a lot of that was hard copy. Mm-hmm. It was like film. You know what I mean? And if you didn't have the negatives, you couldn't like.
You got to go to Costco to get the
scan it. Costco doesn't even do that anymore.
No more.
No more. Target doesn't. There's a lot of places that don't. You have to find like a small photo place to do your stuff. And so now I bought a really nice scanner. I've been scanning in stuff. I got a bunch of stuff from Kurt. I'm gonna scan in and like.
Oh dang.
Yeah, a bunch of old magazines and things like that.
That's cool.
Yeah. So but yeah, I mean that's the reason why the rise of the sport compact, and that's the whole reason to sit down is because we're a generation that needs to tell a story, and you've got an incredible story, and so I'm looking forward to really like starting from the beginning. And so we're here. Let's start at the beginning. I mean, let's take it back to what got you into sport compacts. Hondas.
So
before Honda, right? But you weren't always a Honda guy. You had something before that.
All my cousins. I grew up with a bunch of cousins. My dad built engines for us, all Toyotas.
Right.
All the Japanese Toyotas versus Datsuns versus Rotaries.
Right.
And so graduation from high school, I wanted a Toyota, and my dad got me an '85 CRX HF.
Right.
Ooh, that was fast.
The 85, right?
The 85.
That was the 85.
Yep. That's what we, I guess, what I was known for is for that 85 CRX, and spent a bunch of money on that car to go fast, and it didn't go quick until I switched over to a ZC.
Right.
D16 twin cam.
Right, but I mean, not going fast was relative, which meant you were losing to people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
after I switched over to that CC motor, figured out how to turbo it.
Was it carbureted though, right?
Low through carbureted turbo.
Was that a factory? You switched out to a factory ZC carbureted motor?
Yeah.
That was the thing. That was like I was talking to Jeff, and he had kind of the same kind of thing. It was like, because it was already you can get the ZC carbureted and throw it in there. Had the manifold, had everything ready to go.
Then switched to the twin side Mikunis on it.
Yeah.
That setup was pretty good.
Yeah.
But you just nonstop. If you don't want to lose, you just got to keep on innovating and
spending money.
Yeah. I just bought an HKS kit from Japan.
Yeah.
I probably had stacks of Carboy magazines back then.
I remember that. It was like a cast manifold.
Yep, cast.
Had the two little, you could put like a heat shield on it.
Yep.
Wait, did it come? I had one of those, part of a kit or whatever, and I never had the heat shield.
What?
Yeah.
Did you make with the heat shield, the two bunks for it, and that was it. So I bought the HKS kit. Came with a T3 Garrett turbo.
Yeah.
And at that time, like, I have an idea how to put the turbo on, but the Garrett turbo was water cooled.
Right. So
I didn't know where I should run, the water line. So I'm like, man, it's like I paid a lot of money for this kit. I better pay somebody that knows what they're doing.
Right.
So I took that kit to Ack Miller in Pico Rivera.
Oh man, I remember Ack Miller. Wow. They were like older guys, kind of like,
He almost convinced me to go propane turbo. I went there to just install my HKS kit, and since I didn't know where the water line's supposed to go, so I took it to them. I'll pay them the money, so I'll figure out where everything goes.
Right.
I pick up the car, running like crap, and I'm like, man, that doesn't look like the Garrett turbo. The HKS Garrett turbo that I brought to him, right?
Right.
So he ended up putting a Garrett T25 on the car, since it's a 1.6 motor. Old school guys back in the days, they figure, 1.6
Wait, did they
motor.
keep your turbo, or did they give it back to you?
No, they kept it. And I'm like, I got back home, and I'm like, hey, Ack, this is not the turbo that I brought. He goes, oh, that turbo's too big.
Listen, kid, you don't know it's too much power for you. You're going to hurt yourself.
He didn't even tell me if it's too much power. He just said it's too big. Like, you never mentioned about no bigger power, because if it's bigger power, I'm like, God. So I'm like, But his selling point was that T25 turbo was on our Pikes Peak winning Hyundai. They won Pikes Peak on like a regular, regular class.
Showroom stock or something like that, yeah.
T25 turbo, and
Man.
I'm like, cool, like, all right, so I'll settle for this, right?
Right.
But it ran like crap because it was blow-through carbureted. They never fine-tuned it, and I found a way to fine-tune it by...
Did you pressure equalize the fuel or...
The fuel bowls, and then I had to choke down the Venturis,
right.
And finally... That car was actually fast because it wasn't running right.
Right.
What happened is, like, every time I punch it, it would flood the system.
Right.
So it would sputter.
Okay.
So while it's sputtering and it clears the unburned gas,
right,
then it bones out.
Right.
So my initial fuel pressure transition was too much. So
boost control.
Too rich.
Accidental boost control.
So it's too rich. While it's too rich, it's sputtering.
Yeah.
It actually acted as a traction control.
Helps your 60 foots. Yeah.
So like punch it, it'd be like pop, 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 pop. And as soon as it clears, you look in the back of the freeway, it's all black smoke.
Yeah.
But the car's moving. And
that's
that setup went low 13s with a blow through at Palm.
And this is probably this is 95-ish.
93, 94, yeah.
94,
93, 94, right after my best friend got killed in Silmar. So yeah, around 90, he passed away in 93. 94 is when I really got into it, and I got out of street racing.
Was it over a street race? It was over a street race, no?
It's at the street races, but it's just, just gangbangers. Just can't find anything better to do.
Yeah, man. That's a interesting, it's an interesting topic to segue into about just the street culture at the time. It was like early 90s was rough. Like the streets were rough.
Yeah, I grew up in the 80s.
Yeah.
I grew up in LA in the 80s, and crazy part in LA is you got to know where to walk every 3-4 blocks,
right,
just to not run into the
right
to the pocket of the neighborhood, and
because it changes.
Yeah. So when my dad got me that car in '89, that's when I started getting away from gangbanging and
right.
When I had a pickup truck, I always had a broken windshield, flat tires.
Yeah.
So when my dad got me that CRX before I graduated,
right,
I'm like, oh man, I can't. This car's too pretty to be fixing up. To be fixing from damages rather than fixing up.
Oh, it was like damages from being in a rough neighborhood, windows broken, tires punctured, stuff like that.
Yeah. So that's when I stayed away and got into street racing.
So did you never got caught up with gangbanging or
growing up in LA? You have to.
You have to, yeah.
Because growing up in LA, if you I live, a couple of blocks from Rampart Police Department.
Okay, yeah.
So if you live in that neighborhood, they're going to consider you as part of that gang. So
you're either going to be with them or against them. Yeah.
Yeah, you might as well be part of the gang because you're going to be somewhere else. They know that you're in that neighborhood.
Right.
So that's pretty.
It's just culture. It's culture.
Historic Filipino town there in LA. In between Alvarado, Rampart, Temple Street, and.
So it's cultural, yeah.
Yeah, and it's crazy. It's like it's just stupid. It's just, but that's
so
you grow up with.
Did the cars kind of pull you out of that gang life?
That's exactly what. Yeah, that's exactly what got me out because it's like, man, I don't want this. This car's too expensive. You're not putting all this money in the car and then just to somebody else to just burn it or.
Yeah, it's true.
So that's what got me out of it, and then ended up having a girlfriend that lived out of the city, so I'm definitely not in LA anymore.
Right.
Driving out.
Yeah,
but
man.
yeah, I always say the cars and my girlfriend's the one that got me out of gangs and actually saved my life probably.
Yeah.
I had a lot of high school, junior high friends that didn't make it past high school. So
yeah, man, that's good.
It's a blessing too.
It's a blessing. Yeah.
My dad, besides beating my ass, he did the right thing by giving me a car.
And it's I get a lot of messages from people who had saw the MTV show and said, hey, look, you got me into getting a Honda, you got me into cars, and the other thing that they say is that you kept me out of gang life. Like he's like, it just seeing that episode, it's all I wanted to do with my life. And so everyone else in the neighborhood gets into gang life, and I was able to focus on something else. And everyone else I know got into gangs or drugs, is dead or in prison. and thank you. And so, you know what I mean? I'm sure I'm sure you get that sometimes. I'm sure a lot of people who've like seen you race and have been inspired by the stuff you do you've kept them out of that kind of lifestyle. So I think it's probably cool to say that here and explain that.
Yeah, because you know what, the crazy part is in this industry, if you look at it, all from the 80s and you know, 80s to early 90s were a bunch of, you know, wannabe thugs that got into cars, and for some reason, you know, everybody from like different Precision and Redline, and those guys were like all ex-gangbangers, but we all actually ended up getting along, almost getting along,
yeah.
At the street races. And then we really had to get along when we got to the, you know, when Frank Choi threw Battle of the Imports, we really had to get along.
Yeah, because he didn't tolerate fighting.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. So I'm like, there was a moment in there, like, I remember Jeremy Drag Cartel, like, you know.
Oh, my God, the toe hook incident. Wasn't that the toe hook incident?
Oh, no, yeah, that's Ed Bergenholtz. Ron Bergenholtz was the one that...
I was there for the Jeremy incident.
The Jeremy is one when he's talking crap.
Because that was like late. It was like, I feel like it was like late day at Palmdale. And you guys were just all like, everyone was there. I think Tom Young was there. Everyone was like piled up in this. It was about to go down.
With Tony Fuchs and
with
guys.
Tony.
So I'm like, one time I asked Jeremy, hey, you know what, man? I'm a good friend of Frank's, but if you want to box down the street, down the Chevron, I was like,
yeah,
let's take it there. You know what I mean? Because, you know, I don't want to disrespect Frank for throwing us this thing, because, you know, Frank's the one that got us out of the streets and got us into professionalism, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. You almost boxed Ron too.
Ron, one time when my CRX ran, you know, it wasn't back then. It wasn't imaginable for front wheel drives to go 1.4 60 foots and all this stuff.
Right.
So Ron got on my face. He's like, "You're cheating. You're cheating. You're cheating." And like, I was like, "Bro, you better get off my face."
Right.
Like, you know. And but now we're like all old and we just talk about it, laugh about it.
Yeah.
But hey, man, you know, racing's racing.
Racing.
You gotta figure out you gotta figure something out to go quick, and and that's why I was anti wheelie bar.
Right.
Because I've tried to figure out traction. I've tried to figure everything else to go quick without
the wheelie
bar. And when they brought the wheelie bar in, I'm like, oh man, I think that's gonna slow our progress on.
Yeah, because Ron and Ed brought that wheelie bar out. They're the first ones to wheelie bar.
So now front wheel drive cars going 216 miles an hour with no wheelie bar.
No wheelie bars. Yeah, we're at 6. Is it 6.5 or 6.6s currently? I think 6.6, right?
All wheel drive 6s, 660s.
660s all wheel? No, we're lower than that on all wheel drives now.
Front wheel drive.
Front wheel drive 6. Those Florida guys.
Oh gosh, yeah, 680s, 670s.
Okay, I think they recently hit 660s.
Wow,
666 or something. Yeah, front wheel drive.
I'll stick to. I'm trying to build a car for my daughter. So
it's not even a Honda right now. It's a
Nissan
Sentra.
Yeah, Indy making a name for themselves.
660. It's an SR20 running like 660s or something, 650s or 660s.
Whatever they figure it out, they probably figure out how to trip the lights like I have back in the days.
Yeah.
You know,
the toe hook, the infamous toe hook.
On top of the toe hook, it's called the stagger on the tree. You just gotta have something
that's lower than the tire to let you go a little forward.
That will start the timer a little bit later.
I always knew that. You know what's funny is I always knew that.
Yeah.
Like I could look and just be like, hey, that light didn't turn. Like, wait, okay. I didn't say. I mean, I was just like, okay. I see what's going on. Yeah.
So that's what.
If you could have the car a little lower, if you could hang down that exhaust so it's right past the tire.
Sometimes we don't need all the money in the world to go quick, right? You just got to use our brain.
Yeah.
Everybody laughed at me every time I showed up at the racetrack. You know, I went 24s. Everybody laughed at me. I brought out 26s. Everybody laughed. About 28-inch slicks. Everybody laughed. But
yeah,
what's going quick by those steps, right? I mean,
well, you were first to 12s.
12, yeah. Junior and I were kind of like battling with that first 12 stuff.
And then weren't you first to 11 too?
Corrected. Because when we went with the low 12s, and Mike Farrar corrected Palmdale into like an 11-something pass.
Oh, yeah.
But
whatever.
So, yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
You put that target on my back, world's fastest Honda, and ever since then, it's like
we're
fighting for that belt.
Fighting for that. That's what breeds innovation.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what pushes people to keep coming back and spending the money and spending the time and staying up late and doing that. Yeah,
you just gotta use your brain and just keep thinking.
So you were saying your dad was building motors for your guys. So your dad's was kind of an influence for you.
Yeah. So my dad's he came to the U.S. 79, 80. He works for the Philippine government.
Okay.
But he actually grew up in a garage. My grandfather's had a garage auto repair business, building those passenger Jeeps in the Philippines.
Okay.
So my dad's always been a mechanic, but got a government job. Came to the U.S. That's when all the turmoil in the Philippines with government stuff. So he decided to stay here.
Yeah.
Worked as a mechanic in Santa Monica for working on old Porsches. Well, it wasn't old back then. It was 80s Porsche.
Relatively new Porsches back then.
Yeah, image makers, Fairfax, Santa Monica. Worked there for 4 years.
Right.
Making $200 a week. And he decided to open up his own shop in North Hollywood, Man Auto Works. He opened up Man Auto Works 85.
Wow.
I came here 82, 83. Hung out at the shop. And pretty much, my dad grew up in the Philippines racing everything. Race bicycles, motorcycles, anything you can think of. And when he opened up his shop here in 85, my cousins used to do all the street racing in Gardena. So he built a couple of engines for them.
Right.
18RG, 2TG.
Yeah.
Old Toyota stuff. With carburetors, oh man, it's fast, right?
Right.
So I hung out with those guys. Went to Dodger Stadium a couple of times for street races.
Yeah, that was a spot.
And that was it. I mean, but growing up in LA, I deal with gangs, and then through high school, good thing in high school, I actually got sent to the Philippines before in my freshman year. My dad tricked me because he's like, "You want to go home Philippines for vacation?"
Yeah.
I go, "Yeah, how long?" Like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I call back 2 weeks. "Hey, Pops, 2 weeks." He goes, "No, stupid. You're going to study there."
Oh, wow.
I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
So stuck in the Philippines for a while.
Because he knew what was going on.
Yeah.
He saw the writing on the wall for you and gang life and that type of thing, yeah.
So that's when I realized in the Philippines, I'm like, man, I don't know anything. I don't know algebra. I don't know. I was pretty dumb,
Right.
Got back again. That changed me just a little bit until, it's just influence,
Yeah.
You're never going to change until you change your surroundings and change your peers. So we moved out of L.A. And I ended up going to school by North Hollywood, Van Nuys.
Right.
And that's when I started hanging out at the shop.
Yeah.
Then he got me the car. Then that's when everybody in high school and everybody else, I got everybody hanging out at the shop.
Yeah.
So my dad kind of showed us the way on wrenching on cars.
Did he get you the car because he thought you were going to race it? Or did he just get you the car because it was something that was economical? And
he got me a car because my dad auto repair, body shop business. He's the guy that always takes payments in some form or the other. So I think he got that CRX as a payment from somebody.
Yeah.
And he prepped it up for me and he gave it to me and it's an HF, bro. 1200 CVCC
4-speed, right? Wasn't that the 4-speed?
That one had a 5-speed.
Oh yeah, you're
for some reason 5-speed. Yeah,
Jeez.
but it's not the SI 5-speed.
No.
It's still the 5-speed high fuel 5-speed that just has no gear ratio. When you get to fifth gear, everybody catches up to you.
Oh right.
It's like a overdrive kind of.
Yeah, wasn't that first, second, and then second, and then second? Wait, second. Hold on, I'm still in second. I'm doing 60 in second. Okay, there's third.
And you gotta have serious power. And it's I put twin side Biconis on those. change camshaft. I have a friend at Iski that grounded me cams every week. Rod from Iski ground me cams just to try to make up for the power band.
Yeah.
No matter what I did, everybody caught up to me by quarter mile.
Wow. Because the gearing probably had to be gearing.
Gearing and not enough power. No matter, even if that was a twin side carburetor thing, I probably was making like 90 horsepower maybe.
Right.
We didn't have dynos yet at that time. So.
Right.
But dyno.
Yeah.
So now my dad's shop, after high school, during high school, we started at Car Club, Team Precision.
Yeah, Precision.
After high school, that's when, Kenji, Samino, Mike Chung.
Yeah, Kenji was
that's
Precision.
My crew, and, my dad's shop provided us that space that we can be there all night trying to figure something out, building engines and testing, and that's where I think from my dad's shop, a lot of people branched out to all these companies that, he's running all these companies now, which is kind of proud about that.
Yeah.
But, my dad tried to teach me body work, but I was not into sanding cars the whole day.
Not your thing, yeah.
Yeah, so.
It's that's a hard job.
So going back to that shop, my grandfather was here from the Philippines, so he started teaching me how to weld from acetylene welding.
Yeah.
So that's when I did a turbo kit for Mike and Kenji in our cars.
With an acetylene welder?
With an acetylene welder.
Man.
If I could just cut up pipes, acetylene welder, exhaust manifold, acetylene welder. And we made turbo kits. And then drag came about during Honda turbo kits.
Yeah, I remember drag.
So I was like, hey, drag, I'll buy a manifold.
Yep.
So I bought a manifold, and this was supposed to be the first neat shoe from our car crew. We were one of the first ones that did the B18 LS swap on an EG. On EF. On an
EF, wow.
So we had a couple of those cars.
So what year is this roughly?
This is 90, right when Ian died, actually. Right before Ian, 93, 92.
93, 92, yeah.
92. At least 92, because, we did the first swap on the EF.
So those LS motors have only been out a couple years.
Yeah, 90 on a 90 Integra.
Yeah.
Yep. So we swapped that in there, and then I was like, we need to turbo it. So drag was the only one that made manifolds back then.
That log manifold.
$450.
Plumbing pipe and just
a couple of L's and a couple of T's.
Yep.
And stick the flange and stick the wastegate flange wherever you want.
Yeah.
So $450. I waited like 2-3 weeks to make it.
Right.
I picked it up, and I'm like, damn, I paid $450 for this. Bring it back to the shop. My dad goes, you paid $450 for that?
Right.
I'm like, yeah. He goes, figure out where you buy those elbows at, you know? So this was even the carbon steel. It wasn't even the stainless.
Wasn't even stainless.
Oh, my God. The stainless was $30 a piece for those elbows back then.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I made one out of carbon steel, and all I did was the first manifold that I did, I just redirected the middle two pipes so that it will split into the flange of the turbocharger.
Okay, yeah.
That combination alone netted something like 20 horsepower, 15 foot-pounds of torque.
Just had that flow.
Right? So now, out of that setup, I was like, let me try something else. So I merged, even at short runner, I merged all the 1 through 4 runner into the collector to put into the flange. That was 30 horsepower and 20 foot-pounds of torque.
And that was still with all the plumbing pipe.
Yeah, the carbon steel stuff, but you just redirected it to come out. Common sense, right? It's just common sense. If air has to go to the turbocharger, you want it going to the turbocharger.
Right.
Not just a T and an L that all the pressure is just going to fight off the cylinder going back to each other.
And then that was before we start thinking about pulse, like the pulse of the engine
Pulsing
and all that stuff.
So now I made that, and it worked, and that's when I started doing Rev Hard turbo kits.
Yeah.
And so between me and you know, my good friend Ramon Monch, started Rev Hard out of college. Then we have Alan, Jonathan, team. I mean, we all learned from my dad, so we're all, you know, family. So we started making those manifolds, and we started selling the kits, and eventually there's a time that we couldn't keep up making it.
Right.
So I ended up casting that manifold.
Yeah, you had the first. Well, not like HKS was the first.
HKS was the first, but it wasn't.
It was tiny.
The directional.
It
It was the same thing. It was a log manifold. It was just. It's still not directional. It's still.
Right.
It's still a log style.
Yep.
So I'm the first that casted the directional manifold.
Yeah, those are cool.
And since we already saw the improvement with the sample piece, I just casted that.
Right.
And I ended up selling it to Drag, ended up selling Turbonetics, ended up selling to all the turbo kit manufacturers.
Yeah.
And that's
it got around. That one got around.
Yeah. So that B series.
That was the B series one. Yep.
Yeah, we sold 1,000, at least 1,000 doses. It's just up to this day, even everything on eBay.
it's all your design.
Tooling.
It's the same tooling. Yeah.
Yeah. So from there,
you still have that tooling?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Storage full. Like, I don't know what to do with it, but it's always, I want to frame it for something, but God gave me 2 girls that's not into cars, so like,
still a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
It changed my life.
Yeah. Made it more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about it. So then Rev Hard took off.
And you were still racing, so you're still racing the CRX at this point, right? You're still.
Well, the CRX, after it came out of the magazine, the first time it came out in the magazine when Mike Ferrara wrote the World's Fastest CRX article.
Right.
I got a call from a Middle Eastern guy. He's like, "Hey, you
because that was still on the ZC, right? That was still on the blow-through carbureted setup.
Yeah. No. After the Bluetooth carburetor, I went Tech 2 individual
Tech 2,
throttle body.
That's right.
Individual throttle bodies. So after
you probably got those from like AEM. Did you buy like the TWM throttle bodies and make your manifold? Yeah.
Yeah. I did a lot of work with John Conchaldi back then.
John Conchaldi, the man.
On carbing Honda motors.
Yeah.
And we actually, Mike Chung was like the prototype car for the EF to go twin side, and
I had the LS manifold from AEM.
Yeah.
It was a powder coat blue for some side draft Makunis from AEM. I got it from John, and I ran it on my DA Integra.
Those things work good, right? They work good, made power and all that stuff, but we never in the beginning stages of it, we never realized that using the factory distributor.
Oh, you couldn't do it.
Because what's happening is the factory ECU is reading all this compensation thing, so it changes the ignition timing. Yeah. So there's one time it's running good and one time it's not.
I had to use a
MSD adapter, right?
No, I used a distributor off of a carbureted Prelude 1.8.
Mm-hmm. You got to go with
the vacuum
manual.
advance.
Yep. That's
how I got
it's
it to work.
It's like a dyno's good, and then when you go to a track, depending on the conditions, the car runs like crap, right?
Yeah, I had an MSD 6AL on it, and then I don't think I had the right one, but I had the vacuum advance, and that's the only thing that kept it idling.
Yeah.
It would just die without that. Yeah, it was that vacuum advance.
So that setup, when it came out of the magazine, I got a call from some Middle Eastern guy. He goes, "Hey, are you selling the car?" I goes, "Yeah, I'll sell the car." Like, how much? 15,000. Okay. Are you selling the motor? I go, "Yeah." How much? I'll sell it for 9,000.
Right.
9,000. Yeah, 9,000. Oh, he goes, "What's come with it?" "I'll give you everything in the engine bay, like whatever." Right.
Yeah. Because that was like an FU price, huh?
Yeah.
At that time.
But so now
no one's spending $9,000 for a ZC at that time.
I get a call the next day, bro. He goes, "Hey, this is so and so. Did you get the check?" And I'm like, "What check?" "I sent you $9,500 cashier's check."
What?
He goes, "Can the $500 good enough to ship to my house in Houston? But write this address." United Arab Emirates, I think it went up to Houston. Then
Yeah.
I look in my mailbox. I have a $9,500 check.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yes.
Hey. So cash that, ship that motor.
Yeah.
And that's when we converted that to a full aerodynamic back half car.
You go B series after that, right?
I went B16.
Yeah, B16.
B16.
This is mid-90s right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is mid-90s.
95-ish.
Yep.
95.
Yeah. So B16, that thing ran good. That thing made one of the most power before everybody else.
Yeah.
That's when we were playing. I was, Chris Weisberg used to be Turbonetics, started Pro Turbo.
Right.
And that's when, we're building stuff from old diesel compressors.
Yeah.
Putting it together, refined combination, a big T3 wheel.
Yeah, you came up with a hybrid That was you were the first one to run the hybrid.
Yeah, so I came up with that.
T3, T4.
We dyno Javier's making, I think at that time we were making like 450-ish.
Okay. That's just huge.
Yeah.
For like mid-90s,
yeah,
it's huge.
So easy. So that's why I've always won the mile an hour record. I went 120s, 130s.
Because you had the power.
Yeah, I always had the power. I just couldn't hook up on the CRX.
Right.
And
no
Chris,
no one could hook up.
With Chris, I told Chris, it's like David Shee hits him up for that turbo.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Chris, like, don't sell that turbo yet. Let me at least make a couple of track events. Let me just race like one race event, 2 race event, and then we'll sell them the combination.
Yeah.
But no, money speaks. Money talks, bullshit walks.
Yeah, David likes to.
So David will pay the money. Buys that combination.
Yeah.
Buys that turbo. All the JG cars starts going quick.
Yeah.
Because now they know the combination to use.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
And from then, like, you don't have an advantage no more. That's just,
right.
Well,
you got to keep innovating.
Yeah. And then so I just keep innovating. Then CRX crashed. Desert Storm.
The first Desert Storm?
The first one when it snowed.
I think it snowed at both of them.
The first one that jacked through, Lotus.
Not the one that got canceled.
Yeah, the one that got canceled.
The one that got canceled?
Yeah, the one they had, I think they had Charles and somebody else's face on the flyer.
Yeah.
Right, so.
I was at that one.
The CRX was like all over the place. But that one we switched to a LS VTEC. I'm the first guy that tried the LS VTEC with Javier. And that one made more power. And the car, CRX, is just all over the place. I'm driving that thing like this, going through a finish line. So I don't remember what I ran at Desert Storm. I think it went 11th.
Right, at the old Vegas track.
Yeah, old Vegas track.
On the road course. It was like the straightaway of the road course.
I can't drive this thing. So Archie, I've always known Archie. They're like, the drivers.
Right.
I said, Arch, drive my car.
Yeah.
Because, man, tell me what's wrong with it, That's the first time Archie drives it. I'm standing behind the starting line. And he's on the 2-step forever. And that time we don't have tranny, we don't have axles.
Right.
We just had welded diffs, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, he's gonna break the axle. Sure enough, man. Pop, 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 pop. He launches. He almost hits the tree. And I'm like, oh man, I was like, he's launching too hard. Like,
yeah.
Like they brought my car back, picked up in a tow truck, and I'm like, man, I wish tomorrow nobody races.
Yeah.
We woke up that morning, that Sunday, it was snowing. I was like, yeah. I was like,
I went out there with my DA. I had a second DA because people knew my black one at the street races, and then I would like switch the car. I would take the motor and put it in my red one, because no one had internet. Like there was no internet. There was no like. It was just like, oh, what did he drive? Black DA. Oh, okay. Black Integra. All right, cool. That don't race him.
It was just the hustle game, huh?
The hustle game, yeah.
Yep.
So I took the red one out there, and I took my buddy Patrick. He's a little dude. So he had to, we ran, we tested, or we did qualify. It was like Friday. It was like Friday was qualifying or whatever, or like practice. And then
testing too. Yep.
And so we ran it and took the slicks off. And I had to go up and get my time slip or something. And he was swapping the wheels out. But when he did it, he stood on the star to like torque because he's a little dude, right? He broke 3. No, he broke 2 on each wheel. So I only had 2 studs.
Oh,
and you can't race on,
Yeah, they checked.
So we went home and we took all night and we like chiseled the. I think it was telling we had to hammer chisel the clearance to get the studs out.
Uh-huh.
And we woke up and we opened the garage. It was snow everywhere. So I was like, oh man, and we had to go to the shop, whatever the shop was that was putting it on. We all met up down there.
I was actually happy. I woke up, snow, like, yeah, nobody's racing.
Yeah.
My car was freaking wrecked.
Yeah.
Wrecked the car.
No, we didn't get remember, no one got refunds from that.
Nobody ever. Up to now, even
nobody ever got a refund from that one.
Even up to now, even the IFO races like rain out.
No. Well,
I think they intentionally schedule races when it's raining now.
I don't know. They don't have to do payouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels cool though.
I miss battle the imports. Like
I miss battle too. What's up, Frank? What's up, Frank? Let's get this going again.
I know, man.
Let's do it.
I don't know.
Let's do an old timer battle of the imports. You know,
you should. You should. You know.
Yeah. Were you there? Do you remember? Of course you were there. Do you remember Riot Battle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Motel 6 Riot Battle.
Yeah.
Were you at the Motel 6 when it went down?
No. We stay at the classier one. We stay at the Red Lion or.
That's across the street.
Yeah, we stay there.
Yeah.
The Red Lion. You know?
Yeah, you're upscale. Woo, you're fancy.
Motel 6 is too much for us. Yeah.
Man, so we I tell this story about Motel 6 and the riots and whatever, but my friend had the his mom had the contract to make the shirts for Motel 6. So we had 3 Motel 6 shirts on. So when that was going down, I kept walking out in a Motel 6 shirt and telling the cops that we had it under control. Like, no, it's cool, they're dispersing. And so the cops would leave. That's why when the third time they came back with the riot squad. Oh, because I'd already told them we had it under control 2 other times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We didn't party that much. I usually, when I'm at Palmdale, I'm tuning somebody's car on the road at the street, the street tuning. We got pulled over by a Palmdale sheriff, and he's like, Maras Porhani, he owns Dynamic Design.
Yeah.
Maras was probably already 40s at that time.
Yep.
He's driving, and I'm here sitting on the freaking pillow, tuning his car. He gets pulled over, and they look like, he's 2 older guys. Like, what are you guys doing here? Like, and Maras is straight up like, we're trying to tune the car so we can go racing tomorrow at Palmdale.
Yeah.
And he popped the hood. He goes, man, this is not the motor. He goes, yeah, but Maras got it all carb certified and everything. And the cop's like, I got to give it to you guys. He goes, at least you did the proper way, you know, and you're telling me up front what you guys are doing.
Right.
So he goes, just be safe. And,
That was hard to do back in the day. It was hard to get things carb certified.
Yeah, it was. But since he saw an older guy and we were up front with him, he let us go, and that's what usually that's probably what I do all the time. Every time there's an event, I'm tuning somebody's car on the street down from the track. And
so you never got to come play at the Motel 6?
I never got to party. Never got to party.
You party after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, I have like bad organs now, kidneys and stuff, got gout. But that's all from all the battle, the imports.
Victory celebration.
What's the restaurant at the mall where Frank buys us all the cognacs? You shoot all the cognacs and chase it with milk.
We would always go to the Outback. We'd go to Outback, and then
there's a restaurant in the mall that we always, we drank like crazy, man.
Yeah.
Frank we finish bottles of cognac.
Yeah.
Now
it's talking to you.
Caught up. Yeah, it caught up
with
to
you.
me. So.
But yeah, that's a good time. I mean, people don't know that it's just like it was the place to be.
Yeah.
Like everyone who had a fixed up sport compact was there.
Yeah.
It was insane. Like lines out the door.
It wasn't even about the price money. The price money was like $250. So what we would do before is between me and the top guys, we'd pull in 100, 200 each from each team.
Right.
And at the end of the day, whoever's the quickest freaking wins the pot.
Yeah, that's right.
So one time Junior showed up over there. He went like a 1240s.
Right.
And he's like asking us for the money already. He's like, give me the money. I was like, no, because, back there it was bracket race.
Yep.
And then you run exhibition to run the quickest times.
Yep.
So Junior's like, give me the money already. Give me, ask me. I was like, wait up. We're still in line.
We still got exhibition.
Sure enough, when I went to 1221, I heard him say, like, one of the boys like, oh, he was already had it in the trailer.
Oh.
so they brought the car out again, made another pass, 1231, didn't win. And now, like, we almost, another riot happened again.
Yeah.
Everybody started talking crap. And,
yeah.
like, who's got the belt? And, but it was fun. I was like, we had our own side pot. It wasn't.
And I feel like as mad as you got at somebody and as much of a rival as they were still family in some sense of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. You talked all the shit you wanted, but like you still, if they were like, hey, yo, I need a distributor, you're like, bro, here.
Still help everybody out.
100%.
Because we know, from the gangbanging days, street days, if we do something, it's never going to end. What I mean? Like, it's going to end up somewhere that.
Yeah.
So it was good. It was now we're all now we're hanging out and friends and
so much time goes by and I build and I'm still focusing on doing stuff and trying to balance family. And I feel bad that I don't get as much social time as I can, you know, with all the homies. I'll see Charles. I'll stop into Skunk and see Charles here and there. But I don't get the time to, I don't make the time to do that. And so I feel like this is also a pretty cool way to like sit down with old homies and just be like, yo, these stories, we got to tell them, man.
You definitely gotta.
Yeah.
You know, I quit racing when my first child was born, 97. I was still into it a little bit. My second one was born in 2003, and that's when I totally quit. Got out of everything cars.
Wow. Yeah.
I got out of that because, you know, it's like, oh, you know, focus on my kids.
Yeah. Because racing is expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. So
even when you're winning, it still seems like.
You win all of it, you're never going to pay you back. It's just, but to us, it's like when I had the company, when I had RevHard, that was our our only form of advertising, is being out there.
Yeah.
And business grew, started RevHard 98, and up to 2003 when I walked out away from it, we were literally growing 80%, 100%, doubling every year up to 2003.
Right. Wow.
And that's when I, you know.
So why'd you walk away?
Because
that was like your baby.
So my second kid was born.
Yeah.
And at that time, when real estate was doing this.
Yep.
That's when the real estate market. So I'm like, wait a minute, you know, I made all this money in RevHard. I can easily make that if I buy houses.
Right.
So out of $350K, I cashed out of RevHard.
Yep.
I bought 7 houses at $50,000 a piece.
Oh wow.
I lost all of them.
Really?
Yeah, I bought that like 2004, 2005 era. By the time it got to 2008, the rent, I couldn't flip it. I couldn't flip the houses, and the rent wasn't keeping up with the mortgage.
Right.
So that's when I lost like 9 houses.
Just overextended.
Yeah, I ended up renting. Yeah.
Damn.
That's why, that's one of the regrets.
Happened to a lot of people, yeah.
But like I should have listened to Pat Spears. Remember Pat Spears, Spearco?
Yeah.
So when I worked at Turbonetics, Pat Spears just sold the company Spearco to Turbonetics at that time.
I remember
2001. Yep. And
I remember because you were there.
You called me. You called me. You wanted a turbo setup for a turbocharger for I think the CRX or
no, it was we were shooting a movie, and it was for the movie Streets of Legend or Quattronosa. And so we used the intercooler and the turbocharger on an install in the movie for Streets of Legend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Pat gave me that advice. He goes, Miles, like when I was totally getting out of cashing out and totally getting out of the scene and the stuff, he goes, Miles, like Pat's like, Miles, don't do it. Don't put all of that stuff. You got to stick to what you're good at.
Right.
He goes, don't totally get away from it and just get into housing.
Right. Don't chase the money.
Yeah. That's my biggest. That's one of my regrets is I chased it hard and boom, gone. And then imagine. I don't know why it didn't dawn on me where in 2002 when the RSX and the EP3 came out.
Yeah.
2002 to 2003, we sold between those two cars and the S2000, we sold over 300 kits.
Right.
That's where we grew, doubled and doubled and doubled.
Yeah, with K-Series stuff.
So that's when I cashed out the K-Series.
Yeah.
And I put it all in houses.
Yeah.
Woo, look at all the company that took off after 2003. You got, Hybrid, Cartel, Prionto, Skunk. Yeah. Anybody that made K-Series parts.
Yeah, that's true. K was an explosion.
But, that's one of my regrets in life, but my kids turned out good.
Yeah, but that's family's more important than anything ever, really. You know what I mean? Like your family, and then the circle, your circle.
But don't totally get out of it. Stick to what you're good at.
Well,
don't chase the numbers.
Don't chase the money. I've heard a lot of people talking about big money guys. They're talking about
more you chase
Bitcoin or whatever, and people are like getting into it, and they're like, the guy's like, I'm not into it. And I was listening to him. This guy makes a lot of money. He's like, yeah, I can make a lot of money, but I'm just not. It doesn't excite me. And you always got to do what you're passionate about.
Yeah.
And that's how you get good at things, is you're passionate about it, right? The money's going to come because you're going to get good because you love it. Yeah. And I think like when you're older, you know, like you rode that passion for a long time. And, you know, that type of thing doesn't go away, but it's just like you get older and you're tired, you know, and it's like you can't put the long hours you can anymore in, but you still love it. And so I think that I know that I learned, I used to skateboard 20 years ago, right? Or more. And my daughter got into it. And so I started skating with her. And I'm like, okay, you got it. She's getting good. I got to coach her, this and that. But I'm skating with her. And then I realized that's a bad idea, because you don't really get good if somebody's like telling you what to do or this and that, whatever. And then I realized, like, man, I'm not really having fun at what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I'm just out there trying to figure out how to do a 360 flip again, you know? And then one day it just kind of clicked. And it wasn't even about the tricks or the this or the being like, I could do this. It was just about being there. And it clicked. I fell in love with it again. And I started looking at everything around me, and I started falling in love with it all over again. You know, just the cars and this and that. Because I still got projects. I got long-term projects. You know, I still got the CRX. I'm bringing that back out. I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm just like, something was different. But it took her teaching me that you're not going to be good at it again if you don't love it. And it was really like a powerful moment. And so I think that you're still doing stuff, man.
Right now, no, I stopped. I'm, you know, like 2003, I raised two girls, 18 years apiece.
Yeah.
And I devoted my life to that.
Yep.
Basketball, soccer.
Yeah.
Whole week devoted everything to that.
I bet those are the best years of your life, though.
It is.
Yeah.
But now
they're off.
I'm going
right?
through depression, bro. Me and my wife been like eating breakfast, especially on the weekends. Like when you know, the first one left, we had the emptiness, and well, it wasn't emptiness yet. It was we still have one kid. We still had time with that one. But when the second one left for college, man, me and my wife just started crying during breakfast on a Saturday. Like, what are we gonna do? You know, we had two girls in club soccer. We used to fill up twice in our Prius, you know, for just soccer tournaments between Orange County to Palm Desert.
Yeah.
Did that for 18 years each kid, you know, like not 18 years, but raising kids, right? Yeah. We did that since they're 5-6 years old.
Yeah.
So, and it's like after that, when the second one went to college, me and my wife, like, emptiness syndrome, like, yeah, we just started just breaking down, like, what do we do now, you know, like, and that's when I said, like, I wish I would have still kept it with the car stuff. So my two girls, even though they're girls, they grew up in the car scene.
Yeah.
They would have loved more and seen more of what I did.
Yep.
And, you know, pretty cool.
Yeah. But they're still,
they're good. They're good.
They're good.
One's a liberal kid, but, you know, I love her still. I'm proud of her. She finished college in 3 years.
Yeah.
She's done that, you know, and my other one went to college now. She's doing real good. So, but I got to finish a project before the other one comes back from college.
Well, what do you got? You have an RSX.
RSX street car, that's gone. I'm building a 9-gen. I have two 9-gens. I actually took Busy Motors 9-gen.
Oh, really?
I'm building that one, full drag car.
You can do all-wheel drive?
Not that one, but we're doing an all-wheel drive 9-gen.
Okay.
But I'm probably going to run that front-wheel drive first just to get the girls or my kids. I have a couple of nephews that I'm teaching now. I have nephew Xander. You know, he's been with me for a couple of years. He knows how to tune now.
Really?
He knows how to weld.
Yeah.
And he's wrenching. He's 20 years old.
Wow.
He's supposed to be a nurse. You know, Filipinos, their
the
kids.
Nurses,
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So he hung out with me since 17 during high school. Graduated high school. He tells his mom, I'm taking mechanical engineering. So I killed his mom's nurse dream.
Did she chase him with the sandal? What is that like?
Jokoi. Everybody got to be a nurse. But, so, Xander changed to mechanical engineering, but he's literally the one doing everything for me now.
Cool.
Tuning the cars.
That's got to feel good.
So when we finish this 9-gen, that's their practice car. And
how far out is that?
I'm just missing wiring and fuel injection. I got
Right.
motor, I got transmission, but it's like we were putting Infinity on it, but I don't know, man. I'm having a hard time with this Infinity stuff with all the software updates, and so I'm trying to get a fuel tech system for it.
I hear a lot of people talking about fuel tech.
Yeah, I saw we switched one of our Archie's cars, Poly, into fuel tech, and I'm looking at the software, and I'm like, man, this is like literally freaking tuning for dummies. Like their setup is pretty nice.
Pretty simplistic. Yeah.
So
Have you talked to Chris about those M-Techs, M-Trons at all?
Yeah, but might as well buy a Motec. It's like
It was a lot cheaper than Motec, though.
Yeah, but fuel tech.
Yeah.
So a lot cheaper than that one, but.
But you could do all the traction control on like the M-Tron and all that stuff. I don't know if you can you do it on fuel tech too?
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
They have even their FT600 does it's a GPS based traction control. It's crazy stuff now.
That's so crazy right now.
Yeah, here I am trying. You still got to put the freaking tripping light thing. It's all hooks, whatever. We're gonna go for the records. You know what I mean? Have you seen all their stuff that they're coming out with the freaking thing in the front?
Yeah. Yep. Dead talk.
Who came up with that, right?
Right.
You interviewed Kurt last. You interviewed Kurt last week.
Yeah, so Kurt was last week.
We went quick with this car, didn't we?
Yeah, it's true.
But now everybody's got that big flat.
Yeah, the big old divider thing. Yeah, air
they're
divider.
not even trying to hide it no more.
No. As far out as you can hang it.
So yeah, that's it. Just I'm short on fuel system, but
yeah,
I had to finish it because
So this year, sometime you should think you'll be making passes.
Yeah, my daughter's like, Dad, you got to finish this, before I finish college.
Yeah.
Because my first one, I started that for her.
Right.
Came back from college already.
I think I talked to you at SEMA or somewhere, and you were like, yeah, I'm building this car for my daughter. I was like, sick.
Yeah, I mean, she had a 400 horsepower street car, 9th gen.
Yeah.
I took her to practice and everything.
Yeah.
But as soon as she left for college in Washington, came back with the boyfriend, she's not into cars anymore.
Not into cars anymore, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless it's electric.
Yeah.
Good for the environment.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh.
What do you think about that? I mean, what do you think about electric cars? Do you think that's going to take? We'll start seeing a lot more electric cars that drag strip.
I like it though, because it's a weird feeling, getting in a car that pushes you in your seat, and you don't hear any noise.
You don't hear any noise. Yeah.
It's like, what the heck going on? Like,
yeah.
But it's the wave of the future. I mean, but I'm not gonna try to save no. God will save us. Ain't no planet's gonna. No matter what we do to the planet's gonna take care.
It's gonna bounce back.
No matter what happens. Like my daughter came back from Washington, trying to save the planet, and I'm like, what paid for your soccer club for 13 years?
Yeah.
What? Turbo kits.
Turbo kits.
Save the planet on that. Save the trees on those turbo kits. Like,
that's funny.
It kind of.
Washington's cool. They got a good car community up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, good car, good tracks. Yeah.
Yep. It looks like they got the fastest guys are up there. Tacoma.
Yeah.
Speed Factory guys.
Yeah.
I actually got a message and shout out to 4Piston. I ordered something from them.
Yeah.
And I got a reply from 4Piston, Josh and Luke, saying, hey, we used to watch you when we were in our 20s, and that made me kind of made me feel kind of good, and they sent me a bunch of merch, and
that's cool.
That's pretty cool that you're getting recognized by the fastest guys,
Yeah.
It's like, I give them props. Man, they took it to another level. That's just
Yeah, it's man, you got to give the credit to the people that innovated. You're one of the innovators in this industry, and you know what I mean. It's like, I think it's important to catch up and tell these stories.
It's crazy. Luke sends me a video. They're at PRI show, and Luke's like, "Hey, Miles, you show Dre me, Sean Ray." So back then we always wanted a Rev Hard kit, but we couldn't afford it. It was too expensive.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, damn, I can't afford a 4-piston. I was like, I wish I could, put a 4-piston motor on my kid's car. You guys know all this. You guys already figure out the combination. It's a humbling experience, but it's pretty cool.
You inspired these guys to do this.
My wife said every time I get one of those, like, if I would have asked for $1, I think she said we'd still be rich.
You're right.
Sung Kang interviewed me. Sometime they were doing a documentary on Kenji.
Oh, that's cool.
Han, and he's like, "Hey, everywhere I go, your name always pops up. Why is that?" And I'm like, "I think 'cause back then, you can be anybody, and you came to me and you had a goal, and we were so passionate about it that, you got the Norman Peraltas and Jojo Callis.
Yeah.
Anybody that came to me, I helped them fulfill that passion and that goal and that dream that, most of them got famous. They forgot about me, but
Yeah.
back then we're just so passionate about the sport. We're willing to help anybody and,
Yeah. No, anytime
accomplish the goal.
anytime I had something that I needed, like, like the movie or whatever, I made a phone call and you were just like, we got you. Yeah.
Yeah, Turbo Next. And that's the thing. When Chris developed that turbocharger, I said, Chris, just don't sell this shit. Let me just make a pass on it, and then we'll go from there. I was actually still doing that at Turbonetics, where I'd go downstairs, put a turbo together, we'll dyno it with Lisa's car and make the combination. And if you notice at that time, at 2000 to 2003, the fastest people out there ran Turbonetics turbos.
Yeah.
Precision wasn't there yet.
No.
They were not even,
I don't want to talk about precision. No.
Yeah.
No.
So Turbonetics turbos, Chris Radok, Lisa Kubo, Kenny.
Record breakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary Gardella.
Yeah, Gary's a good guy. Yeah.
All from
They're
all
all
the
good
test
people.
developments that I did with that turbo combination.
Right.
And we were the only ones that did trackside support.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
So all the fastest guys, and it's like, it kind of like bothered me back then when Precision took off and they're like trying to claim all this stuff. It's like, all the stuff we did at Turbonetics, you guys wouldn't be here if you guys didn't have a platform or stepping stone to figure out what combination works.
My buddy went through a lot of precision turbos. He kept smoking them. They kept smoking them. And I was just like, but they were hooking them up. He's like, man, those turbos are so good. I was like, man, this is like your fifth turbo. He's like, yeah, but it's a ball bearing now. These are the good ones. I was like, all right, man, whatever.
Yeah. Oh man,
I'm not trying to talk crap on anyone.
Yeah.
They've advanced a lot. They've come a long way. Everyone has. You know, I feel like everyone had to step their game up, like, because the internet came in, and you couldn't slip up.
Yeah,
you couldn't have a bad product. You couldn't get away with like some janky stuff anymore. Like you had to just check all your boxes. Yeah,
the internet came along.
It's brutal.
Yeah,
forums and the internet is brutal.
Yep.
Yeah, if you mess up, and if you're trying to, like, man, and even back then, this industry has always been small,
everybody up.
And there's a lot of people who are trying to pull a lot of shady stuff, because we were kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't you feel? I feel like we were just kids trying to do things.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people were trying to learn business quickly, right? To pay for their addiction.
RevHard wasn't even supposed to be a business.
Right.
I mean, I got an associate's degree in criminology. I was supposed to be an LAPD.
Wow.
I was on my second interview when the Rodney King riots happened.
Holy crap.
So
that's crazy.
That was my goal, is to be a cop.
From gang life to
to help. It's
yeah.
like to help. I know the street life.
Yeah.
I wanted to, protect and serve.
Yeah.
But when the Rodney King riots happened, who wants to be a cop?
Yeah.
Nobody would look at you ever the same to be,
Well, they got a bad
after
name
that,
too.
right?
Yeah.
So that's when I invented that manifold, and the manifold took off, and the manifold, it turned into a very good business.
Yeah. And how's that? That's interesting too, is like being a street racer, right? Because you probably got pulled over every day like me.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Because you weren't driving
But I got away so much. All the stuff that I got away. Like when we got pulled over in Ontario, and I'm driving, and my good friend's sitting on a pillow.
Right.
Underneath the pillow is a back 10.
Oh, jeez.
And all that ticket I got for, you just got to comply, right?
Yeah.
You don't give them an attitude, just comply.
Yeah.
Sir, officer, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Didn't get out of the car. All I got was a ticket for not having a passenger seat. But yet the guy was sitting on a Mac 10.
Right.
Like, so it's got to be respectful.
You got to be respectful. I feel like I was a punk kid. Looking back, I was a total punk kid. I have like a master's. I can teach a master class in how to talk to the police. Just because, like, I mean, I gotta pull a picture up. I got a shoebox of tickets to the brim of tickets. I have a ticket for everything.
Damn.
Every single thing. But, like, yeah, you got to just, like, so here's some advice. I'm going to throw out some advice right now. If you get pulled over in your car, right, you don't have the power. You know what I mean? Like, don't be a smart ass. Turn your dome light on. Put your hands on the wheel where you can see him, and tell your passenger to stop digging around for his, like, lost breath mint. You know what I mean? Like,
they're not always after you,
right? But
when they pull you over, they're doing their job. If they're trying to do their job, let them do their job. But if you try to just go against what they're trying to do, then it's not.
Yeah, put your hands where you can see them, and if they ask for something, tell them where you're going to reach for it. Right? You know what I mean? Like, this is what I do. I got pulled over not too long ago. I rarely get pulled over, but I do. And I put my hands on the wheel, and I told him, I said, hey, he's like, let me see your license. I said, okay, I'm going to reach for my license. It's in my front right pocket. Okay, I'm going to reach for it with my right hand. He's like, yeah, go ahead.
Instead of when you get pulled over, instead of asking him, what did I do?
Yeah.
The first thing you tell him, thank you for your service, officer.
Yeah.
And see how far that gets you. You know what I mean?
Man, I always tell him when I show him, because I got the funniest license picture. I had like a thicker beard, and I fluffed it up before I took my license thing, so I have this beard out to here, right? And I said, I gotta warn you, right? It's gonna be the funniest license picture you've ever seen in your life. And so he's like, I'll be the judge of that. So I hand it to him. He's like, oh, that's pretty funny. But then we have like a rapport. Then we're talking about, all right, so what's going on here? He's like, oh, I pulled you over because, you're doing 160 miles an hour, and I'm just kidding. No, those are like guns out if you're doing that. Yeah. No, he's like, I pulled you over because whatever you're doing. I said, all right, well,
Well,
I didn't mean to do that, or I wasn't paying attention. Whatever you say, you talk about it, be like, yeah, I respect what you're doing here. Yeah. So, and just
it's a tough job now, man. Like,
I think it's just tough on both sides, man, because it's like you're getting pulled over by somebody who nobody likes, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody, like, man, nobody likes getting pulled over. But, like, I just think how you handle it in the beginning, if you're pissed, if you're like pissed at a cop that pulls you over for doing their job to pull you over, you're gonna have a hard time. I remember I got Ontario. So Ontario is a street race spot. This is one of the street race meccas. And there would be thousands of cars there street racing, like, circling the mobile at Awanda. And, like, we would go off to the different tracks, like Airport and all these different tracks, and race into the night, 3, 4 in the morning. And
it's like the part where I slowed down already. Cause
when it started getting big?
My friend got killed in 93. I stopped going to street races.
Yeah, there was gunshots a lot.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Everyone I hung around was usually armed, was usually packing, right? I carried for a while too. That's just what you did. And it's not that I didn't affiliate. In fact, I didn't even affiliate with a crew. I was friends with, like, Wicked. I was friends with you guys. I was friends with Cyber. I was friends with all of these crews, but I didn't affiliate.
Yeah.
And so, but it got complicated if you were somewhere because, some of them were like Watching, and some of them were like LVM, and some of them were all these different gangs.
There's one time we had a race set up with Wicked.
Yeah.
And for some reason, this is like an inside joke now, where Vietnam was going to flip my car because he got pissed off that I was trying to negotiate the race.
Yeah.
And he's like, F you, man. I flip your car, this, that. I'm like, flip my car? I'm like, come on, bro. Like, they're hot-headed.
Yeah.
If the sheriff didn't drive, we met up at Robocar. If the sheriff did not drive in that driveway during that time when he was going to flip my car.
Yeah.
One of us wouldn't have been here today, or one of us would have been in jail.
Something would have popped off. Yeah.
I was like ready and freaking. And at that time, it's like, you're talking crap to me. I just have a best friend that died.
Yeah.
You know, this year and
Vit was no joke, man. Vit just got out of prison, like 4 years ago, something like that.
So now, like every time that joke came with Vit, like I flip your car, you know, like yeah, you know, but they didn't know that, man. That thing got this close on
to going down,
and the sheriff came to Robocar, and
yeah, Robocar was.
It's just
Robocar was the spot.
Somebody was just looking after me, so
those are guys are all watching. All the Robocar guys.
The Robocar guys.
I think they're all Kenside watching.
Yep. So it's like, that's pretty cool. I mean,
but I think my point is that it was like these were some dangerous people, but I never thought about them as hanging around dangerous people.
Yeah, because we all.
I think we all were.
Cars.
I think we all were dangerous people.
But the cars made us all.
But the cars made us family.
Yeah.
Right. And so and
yeah, me and Vit became friends.
But there was a respect level that I don't think exists today in the car community, right? So there was you had this respect because you knew that you didn't disrespect somebody out of turn. You didn't act out of pocket. You didn't you know what I mean? It was because it was the culture, right? And I grew up around this culture, and when it was almost like when like the white kids were coming in, they didn't know how to act in this culture, and there was a lot of problems and there was a lot of fights and a lot of things because of that. And I'm sure you saw that.
Or some, yeah.
Yeah, because it was mainly just it was like an Asian community thing.
But the funny thing is, if you think about it, look back to every crew, from Wicked to Precision to Split Second, they always had that one white dude.
Token white dude. I was a token white dude, 100%.
Always had that one. I just realized that's so funny. Like
they call me Egg Lee. Not Greg Leone. They call me Egg Lee. They said, "Yo, you're white on the outside, but you're yellow in the center."
They always had that one white dude.
Oh, dude, token.
And all of them were. Yeah. We're kind of nutty white dudes too.
Yeah, 100% nutty white dude.
You got Charles.
Charles, yep.
You got Ian. You got remember E.T.
Yeah,
from Split Second.
Yeah.
The Yellow Integra.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Split Second.
Yeah. So that's funny. I just realized that now.
Yeah, I was a token white dude. It's interesting because it's just the culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, cars made us
family.
Family.
Yeah. Because it was like such a small community. If you fixed up a Honda,
everybody knew.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you were driving and you saw somebody with a fixed up Honda, like you were immediately like you would flip around and be like, "What's up, bro? Yo, sick something," or you would be like, "Oh, that's so and so from." Yeah. Because it was,
I don't know how it goes nowadays, but
the respect just isn't there.
No, especially
people just like in a show or whatever.
Nobody knows you, and I actually got called out by one of these shops that does the 9th gen stuff, and it was on Instagram. I think he said something like, "Oh, if you got something to say, you know where I'm at." I'm like, should I take that like back in the 80s, 90s kind of way where I'm at, where I'm just gonna go? Want me to show up over there?
Well, how old is this kid?
Yeah,
25.
He's probably in his 30s and he owns a shop, and I'm like, he wants me to.
That's just a different generation, man.
Yeah, I'm like,
I don't care.
So you want me to go there? Just whatever.
We'll figure this out the old way. What's up?
No.
Yeah, no, it's just a different.
It's not worth it.
It's a different time, man.
And lawyers, man, lawyer fees are expensive. Lawyer fees are expensive. I got in trouble in Texas and a few years back, and my mom was like, "It took you 42, 43 years to get caught." Like, like you have kids, you have family and all that stuff, and it's like regrets is always at the end.
Wait, what? You got caught?
No,
ticket or something?
No, not ticket. I got into an argument.
Oh, wow.
Ended up in jail.
In Texas?
In Texas. I couldn't leave Texas.
From like at an event or something?
No, at a business meeting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I lost my temper, man.
Yeah.
I have friends that invested in Texas. I moved out to Texas to start. We were going to start RevHard again and stuff, but it didn't work out. I lost my temper, man, and I hit this dude. And
we're all thug, man.
You know
I'm just saying that time, we were all thugs.
No, this is way late, man.
No,
This
but
is
I'm
like
saying,
2014.
I know, but like we're in that era, we're all kind of thugs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody was.
But, regrets at the end, and lawyer fees are expensive, man. So don't do it.
Don't do it, man. Don't do it.
It takes a lot of
Take
prayers.
it to the track
Yeah.
or the streets or whatever, you know?
Yep. So I'm like, man.
They're still running on the streets, though. Streets are still popping. Yeah, I go out with driver B sometimes.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Gee. It's nice, though. I think it's that winner take all kind of deal, or is it still like?
Nah, when they do shootouts, but they'll do
shootouts.
Yeah, shootouts are cool, winner take all kind of thing. But they do.
I can't imagine it being.
They do grudge nights too, man. And you know what?
I can't, man.
Man.
I don't know how to argue. If I bring the guys that goes with me and we get into an argument.
Nah, but it's the same vibe. It's still family, man. I mean, it's still like you would feel like you never left.
Too many camera phones.
Yeah, but it's. Yeah, but you would feel like you never left.
Yeah.
It still feels good.
I just went to Roy's funeral Saturday.
Yeah. I
actually saw a video of them street racing, and they got into an argument, and they got into a fight, and I'm like, is that Roy in the middle of that video or what? Like,
yeah.
Then I saw him right before he passed at IFO. He's like, dude, I just got out of the hospital, second heart surgery.
Yeah.
And he's still smoking. And that guy never forgot a special day, man. Birthday, Father's Day, Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Roy was
Christmas.
a good guy. Rest in peace, Roy. Yeah.
So they had his services Saturday. I showed up there, and
in Cyprus. I shot Elmer the day before, and then I was doing a bunch of stuff, and I couldn't.
Spoke in his eulogy.
Yeah.
And I told everybody, I'll never forget Roy as a friend, because you know why? When I had everything in life, and Roy started Exospeed, I lent him my tube chassis car.
Yeah.
And I got out of the scene, lost track of Roy, lost track of my race car. But 3 years later, when I saw him here in Temecula, when I moved to Murrieta, I saw him. He goes, hey, you live here? Yeah. Where's my car? 4 years, he's had my car. He goes, oh, I have it. I'll bring it. I'm like, sure, right?
Yeah.
He brought it back.
Yeah.
And I said, that's when I know Roy was a true friend, because I have friends in this industry that I gave him everything.
Was that the RSX?
The Integra.
Oh, the Integra.
The tube chassis.
The tube chassis Integra, yeah.
That one. I gave that to Drive Shot Shop.
The chassis.
Yeah, the chassis.
But the body,
with the fiberglass shell.
Well, you were giving away a body though.
Oh, the body I gave away?
Yeah.
I gave that one to one of the famous guy that keeps taking credit. He won Eric Del Rosario.
Oh, you gave him the body?
I gave him a car, a rolling chassis back then when he started racing.
Yep.
Helped him set up that car, turbo kit, everything.
Yeah.
He traded me for stickers.
Okay.
And
seems like a bad trade.
Every time he posts something up on Facebook, I ran 8s, I'm this, showing all his accolades, and I'm like, it's not bad for having a race car traded from stickers. He unfriended me.
Oh, man.
But back to Roy's eulogy, same exact thing. I gave a lot of guys when I was up there, I gave a lot of friends a lot of stuff, lend them a lot of stuff. When I lost everything, never got anything back.
Oh, wow.
And that's when I said Roy was a true friend, because Roy...
the only one that gave you something back. Yeah, gave you your car back.
Yeah. Disappeared for 3 years with a race car. He could have sold that easily.
Yeah, Roy's a good guy.
Yeah, so and then he still helped me when I moved out here. Murrieta, he helped me. When I worked for the dealership, he helped me build a motor.
Yeah.
Hang out at the shop. I started my own shop. He hung out again. But, it's like, it's crazy. It's just, I've been through the highs and lows, and who your boys are.
Honestly, this is the reason why we're shooting now, is because when Roy passed, I kicked it in high gear. I got the rest of the gear I needed to shoot the show. Oh. And he was, it's sad to say, but like he was the influence behind like pushing this, because it's like it's a lot to put myself out there and do this, but like this has been a dream for a long time.
Yeah.
And Roy was like the straw that kind of broke the camel's back for me to like let the floodgates out and just pull the trigger and shoot the show.
It's good for our kids and for the next generation.
They got to know these stories, man.
No.
They got to know, because we didn't do a good job documenting it.
Yeah.
We didn't have any way to,
Yeah.
So, yeah. So then what? Where
I
are
just
we?
threw people under the bus, didn't I? It's okay.
Yeah, that's okay though.
I am who I am. You know. What I
Yeah,
mean?
no. Why would you hold back, man?
Yeah.
This is just truth,
Yeah.
facts. You know.
Yeah, when I needed to post bail, you think anybody that owed me money freaking paid me back?
No, man.
You know, it's just, but
Yeah, that's what they said. You know who your friends. You know who your friends are when the rent's due.
mm-hmm.
That's how you know.
That's all good.
That's why it's like I don't mind. I got a bus, so it makes it kind of easy. But I help everybody move. It's like people are like, "Oh, I'm moving." I said, "You need a hand, man," because that's like your worst day when you got to move.
Yeah.
You know, or whatever you're going through. I feel like if you can have an opportunity for the people who do something for you, just like that's some joy, man. Because you know, there's people who always give and never take, and when those people need.
Yeah, man, I was totally wrong when my friend Alan got evicted and I tried to start him Rev Hard again. I said, dude, let's start Rev Hard again.
Yeah.
You know, I know a few people, you know. I said, if I can borrow $100 or $500 from this, and this, we can start a shop.
Yeah.
And I totally had that, you know.
Yeah.
Man, out of freaking, let's say a list of 20, I probably got 5.
Wow.
And it's not like I was asking for $1,000 a piece.
Just $500.
$500.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow.
Okay. Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, and these guys, I gave them turbo kits. I gave them, like,
Yeah.
I know. It's like my kids, like, you should never ask for anything back. But it's like, man, I thought these guys were my boys. Like,
yeah.
But
you never. I mean, that's something too. Is you never know people's like financial situation. You
Yeah.
should never assume someone's financial situation
Yeah.
either. You know what I mean?
$100,
Yeah, $100.
$50.
Dude, we could have done a GoFundMe or something and got you a shop.
Hey, Brent PFI, he's doing really good now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think when he closed, Boosted Boys opened him up a GoFundMe, started another shop, and now they're like.
Oh, from the fire? He had a fire, right?
On that one when he closed down?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the 2 kids, the Boosted Boys,
Yep.
right, started him that stuff. Now Brent's having fun going all across the U.S., building
Yeah.
stuff again.
Yeah. You got to get out there, man.
Or it can be like Dave Skunk. Do that. There's another one besides GoFundMe.
I don't know. Oh,
So
yeah.
Skunk started that thing. So do you want to see us go racing? Here, buy parts and.
Oh, yeah. What's the.
Infineon or.
I don't know.
Like fun something, but.
Crowdsourcing.
Yeah.
Yeah, crowdsource.
Multi-millionaire, still trying to get crowdsourcing.
Yeah, you know. What's that? So that's you got a beef with him. Is that from that turbo thing from back in the day, or what else you got? You got beef?
Ooh, Dave, I don't know. I mean, I just realized. I just heard that, you know. I was helping this dude out trying to build a car, and he supposedly got sponsorship from Skunk, and then they found out that I was working with the car, and now they're not sponsored anymore. So I don't know.
Old beef, huh?
I guess.
Let it go, guys. Come on, man. How many years? What?
Is this part of the show?
20,
man, I'm on a roll right now.
20 years. We got a bus. We're on a bus.
Yeah.
You're throwing people under the bus. We got a bus.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
You know?
Let's let that. I'm saying, like, Dave, let it go, man. Maybe I'll sit Dave down. Maybe we can
broke
find
as
out.
a joke. You can sue me for whatever.
Let's sit Dave
sued
down.
everybody else, I think.
Oh man.
Oh shit.
Maybe I shouldn't have him on the show. Don't sue me, Dave. I love you, Dave. It's been a long road. Don't sue me, Dave.
Charles is the man, though. He's the only one that lasted with him. So
Charles is a good dude, man. Yeah. All right, so let's where we're at. So we're at now, I guess, right? So you stop racing, and now you're. Let's talk about now. You're doing some stuff now.
So now after, I started. Actually, I got back in the cars, a little bit of the car stuff. I started called Company Max Speeds. Just started doing turbo kits for the 9 Gen Civics.
Okay.
I did that, because I just wanted to develop something, but I'm still focusing on full-time dad.
Yeah.
And now my daughter, my youngest one, my second one, went to college, and now I think I'm just kicking up the gear again, and they actually got me a 3D printer for Christmas.
That's cool.
And man, I haven't slept, man. I've been learning Fusion. I'm watching Steph Papadakis.
He puts on a good. He
Steph
does.
is
He does a good. His channel's good.
Steph is
Shout out
kicking.
to Steph Papadakis out there.
Got to interview him next.
Yeah.
Got to ask him the good old JG days where
When he had his porn star mustache.
that and when
Do you remember that?
That when he thought he can block somebody's kick. Messing around at JG.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so interview him for that one. See if
I see him all the time. I see him on the Formula Drift stuff. He helps whatever team I'm on. He's always like
Steph
him or Aldo
ass.
or whatever. They always come through with
that
whatever
team,
little this
man,
and that.
Steph, I props to Steph. Like
Still, yeah.
that's why it's like like he's doing all this,
And it's still Chef.
Stuff, right?
It's still Steph, Sean, Aldo.
Yep, that's the dream team.
It's still they're still doing.
Kicking ass.
They're
Look at all the
Yeah.
all the people that they go against with. Like, man, Steph is just, when back to the hustling days back then before Steph started working for JG. We street raced Steph, and I made somebody else back when he didn't know me yet.
Right.
So when we street raced in the valley, I had one of my guys jump in the CRX.
This is Black Hatch, right? When
Yeah.
he races Black
Yeah.
Hatch. Yeah.
He's so smart. So we raced little money. I think it was a couple $100.
Right.
But I told my guy lose.
Yeah.
Lose, because that's when me and Tony Fuchs used to hustle.
Yeah.
We'd pretend that we'll have a big race,
Yeah.
and then I'll intentionally lose to Tony Fuchs.
Right.
And sure enough, the other crews will hit us up for a race, set up a race
Right.
for bigger money, but they don't know that actually I was faster than Tony Fuchs.
Yep.
So
Sandbagging.
and Tony had a bet on it, right?
Right.
So with Steph, we raced them. I had
That's
one
funny.
Of my guys
I didn't know you would do that. I would lose against people on purpose to
Yeah.
get bigger races.
No, but me
I didn't know
Tony
you guys
would
did
set up
that.
like Tony and Miles was racing.
Yeah.
That crew, so we'd lose, and sure enough, the other crew would hit up. Hey, you guys want to run that car?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. We just lost all our money to Tony.
Yeah.
Then, boom, and all of a sudden we beat him, and then they realize,
By just enough.
yeah,
You can't smoke them.
yeah,
You got to beat them by just
And
enough.
that's when everybody starts like, I think we just got hustled, like,
Yeah.
And so Steph, when we raced my CRX back then, I had my guy drive it. He goes, just lose enough, and then we'll hit him up for bigger money.
Right.
But damn, Steph is so good with freaking money, boy. After he collected this one,
Yeah.
there's no such thing as double or nothing. Once he's got the money.
Once he's got the money, he was out. Yeah.
So now when he first applied to JG, he walks to JG, and I was already working at JG. And he knows the name Miles, but I guess he doesn't know the face.
Right.
So when he first got to JG, and he's like, hey, he goes, hey, aren't you with Miles? He goes, I raced him that last weekend or so-and-so, right?
Right.
And the guys at JG, I got Ralph and Bobby, the Mexican crew at JG, and Bobby's like, what's this guy talking about? Like, what are you talking about, fool? He is Miles. He's like, come on, Bobby. He was supposed to say, we're waiting for Steph to say something about Miles, so I could probably just
Yeah, right.
smack him. But he ended up working at JG.
Yeah.
He ended up being our
He
our gopher guy.
Did he do machine work there? Eventually he did machine work or something like that, didn't he?
I left way before that.
Yeah.
Because me and JG had a falling out too. Like,
You and Javier had a falling out? I can't see why.
no.
He's such an easy guy to get along with. Yeah.
So when I started Rev Hard, from JG, I started Rev Hard.
Right.
And he said, I'll take care of all your motor builds.
Right.
And when I had the H22 motor
Yep.
on the Integra, I came out. So I came out with the CRX, and I came out with the Integra with the H22. And that H22 blew up every weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, you go all the way East Coast, New Jersey.
Yeah.
You're spending money to race cross country, and you don't have a motor that can live,
Right.
right? So I realized now, I was like, dude, Javier, I don't know what's going on, but fuck, I'm blowing up every race.
Right.
Like, Steph's the one that actually, Steph and Ralph, Steph was actually the one that told me, he goes, hey, I have a feeling I know why you're blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
And he opened up a drawer full of used pistons and rods.
No.
And that's when he told me, like,
You were getting the used
stuff?
stuff?
You're getting your motors being built from used parts.
What?
And that's one of the reasons, too, I think Steph left JG.
Right.
Is because he couldn't handle the trickery stuff. That's why they started with Viet Honda Pros.
Yeah, Honda Pro.
Because, Steph is a straight dude. Like, I give that guy props. Like, man,
Yeah.
I'd love to pick his brain now. Like, he's so smart, but Steph's a straight shooter. It's like he knows.
Right. He always has
when
been.
there's people doing something wrong.
Yeah.
He's always been on the right side, So
yeah.
I give him props. So now back to that. Like, I've been watching him freaking do all this freaking 3D printing and CNC.
Printing metal too, doing those metal manifolds and all that stuff.
So now my daughter's got me a 3D printer for Christmas.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm drawing fusion till 3, 4 in the morning, printing stuff, and I'm like,
yeah.
It's like, how come we didn't have this back in the days?
It was really expensive.
I probably would have never quit making parts.
It wasn't. I mean, SolidWorks didn't exist. There wasn't this. Fusion's a good one. Yeah, there wasn't. It didn't exist.
Yeah. All my stuff that I drew was.
There was like CAD cam.
Hand drawn.
There was probably even before CAD
paper.
cam. Yeah, it was like, what was it before AutoCAD?
Yeah.
Right.
That's one of the things. It's like.
And AutoCAD was expensive.
Yeah, I pay a lot of people a lot of money to get it drawn up to be CNC'd.
Yeah.
And now it's like you can do it.
You can do it on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, these kids don't know what.
So I work with the Sorensens in Brandon. He's the pro driver. He's 18. He comes out. He takes pictures with his phone, right? Dude, super amazing kid, right? Just goes and takes pictures of the thing, and then he sends it to the plasma table. Has some parts like within like, I don't know, 20 minutes. Like he just, oh yeah, cool, or 3D print something, and it's just
kids nowadays, man.
The technology is just incredible.
If you can't build a fast car right now with the stuff that you have, man, you're doing something wrong.
Right.
You're spending too much time on being woke.
Doom scrolling your social media.
Yeah.
Or what? Yeah. I don't know.
So I'm like, but hopefully I can come up with something again. It's in the middle of the night. I'd get up and my wife was like, "Why are you getting up?" I'm like, I gotta get this stuff out of my head. So I'm like, "You're in Fusion 360."
Yeah.
I'm hooked, man. Hopefully I come up with the next big thing again.
Yeah, this bus was on my head for probably 10 years before I built it.
This is awesome, man.
And I think it would have driven me crazy if I didn't get it out of my head. So I understand. I understand.
Yeah.
It's part of, if you're a creative, you literally have to get out of your head or it'll drive you mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
But I'm happy to hear that you're making stuff, man. I'm happy to that you still have those concepts and that creative spirit in your head. I'm really looking forward to what comes next from you.
Yeah.
Now that you're kind of like
the kids that I'm training now, awesome kids, man. I have a 17-year-old high schooler, Brock. He's a son of Tommy Fitzgibbon. I don't know if you know him. He's got the Odyssey K-Swap now. Used to be the front intake H22. They call him Fitz. Tommy Fitzgibbon.
Yeah. With the flip, it's like the flipped head.
Yeah.
It's like a USTC head.
Yep.
Flipped around on the
so
Odyssey.
So he's got that Odyssey.
That thing's sick.
And old story from Tommy. Tommy and I wrote letters when he was in war, bro.
Wow.
This is 90. Still, man, auto work days. So this is like 90 CRX days because he had a CRX too. 95, 96. So we wrote letters and then freaking, like, how many years later we bumped into each other and
if he was at
became
war,
good
probably
friends.
had to be like 94 if he was at Desert Storm.
Yeah.
That would be Desert Storm, yeah. 94,
so
95.
we're good friends now. And so his kid, Brock, drives here on the weekends and we teach him how to weld, teach him how to do stuff. Now he's texting me, hey, what kind of welder should I buy my kid? He's really, 17 years old. He's
getting into it.
He's still in high school.
That's
and
awesome.
He has an FX with a 4AG.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But they have all kinds of cars there in Torrance.
Yeah.
But he comes here on the weekends and he hangs out with my nephew, Xander. And it's great listening to Xander trying to teach him stuff at 20 years old, teaching the 70-year-old, and I can, like, hear the stuff that I've been teaching Xander, like listening to a tape recorder. Like,
yeah.
It's pretty cool. So, I mean, I think that's one of the success in life. Like, before you leave this planet is
transfer what you know.
Leave your legacy.
I really hope my daughter loves cars enough to just, we do a little bit, we've always done a little bit. Even when I would have her do one bolt, I'd have her come back and put the bolt back in to start the thing.
Oh, man, yeah.
When I put the Duramax.
You're not one of those mean dads like, my older daughter.
Hold the flashlight? No, that's not.
We started taking a car apart back then, and she got a ratchet. Put the ratchet in, with a socket, and she started turning the socket instead of the ratchet.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? You guys are all going with me to the shop. So the whole day, I made him take off studs.
Yeah.
Take off all the bolts and all the heads and motors that's laying around.
Yeah.
And, I was a mean dad.
We would do just, like when we built her crib, I would just have her help me with the stuff, and I would have her turn all the wrenches, and then we would be proud of it. And she helped me put the Duramax swap in this.
I have pictures now. Actually, I posted in social media and all that stuff. My kids are the one working on their boyfriends' cars, man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sitting here, I'm like, my kid's the one taking out the wheel. I'm like, yo.
All right, so let me ask you. Can they change a tire?
Yep.
Okay. Can they change their oil?
Yep.
Okay. Can they pull out spark plugs and put them back in? And,
yep.
Okay.
Girls.
All right. So that's,
That's why I think I
probably change their coolant, probably could do all the basic stuff that they need to do.
I posted that on Facebook. I said, if you got a girl that can do this, marry her.
Right.
Like they're like, it's so
Well, if you raise them right, they're going to intimidate a lot of guys, and that's okay. I feel like if they intimidate a lot of the guys that they're intimidating are probably not the guys you'd ever want to hopefully ever see.
They're not going to get stranded.
Yeah,
you know
right.
What I mean, so
yeah.
Thank God that I was mean, but they'll remember me for something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you dedicated you stopped pursuing your passions, and you became their dad that was there every day. And I think there's a lot of kids out there who don't get that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so that's a huge thing, and I'm you know what I mean? Like I'm proud of you for that.
As a parent, you just really want to top your parent to do the parenting stuff to your kids. Like my dad worked his ass off 6-7 days a week, and he's never home.
Right.
But he, once I got to hang out with him at the shop, that's when I realized how hard he worked and all that stuff. Why he never was home.
Right.
So when my kids were born, I said, I'm not gonna work as much as my dad because I want.
Yeah.
I don't want to miss that moment, which I never did.
Yeah.
I never missed a state cup championship. I never missed the header. My first kid led the scores in headers in soccer and lacrosse and then so I never missed that moment. So it's like, but now when they're off to college, I'm like,
it's a thankless job.
Yeah,
it's just a thankless job.
Now it's just, man, I gotta build a car, man. I mean, everybody, all these, Lisa Kubo's building a car.
Yeah, Roger, same car. Not a car, the car. She's building the egg.
Roger and them are building. Well, actually, Roger built a car for his kid.
So that's what I heard.
That's badass.
Yeah, Jeff just ran into him. Him and Jason.
I just keep messing with them. It's like midlife crisis is real, guys.
It's real. This is the
crisis.
time. I'm bringing the CRX back. Yep. We're gonna have a little
midlife crisis. That's you know why I keep bringing that up. When I went to drag racing school, Roy Hill, when I was supposed to drive the first Celica to go 200.
Yeah.
So I went to school in Alabama, Roy Hill.
Because you did 9s. You've done 9s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You were like a.
I went 789 on a Roy Hill Mustang.
Yeah.
Which I was supposed to drive that first import to go 200.
Right.
It
was the Celica, right?
Another politics involved. That's the reason why I quit Turbonetics, and that's the reason why I didn't sell the Turbonetics. Is because they brought in outsiders from our sport.
Right.
Like NMRA guys.
Okay.
I'm not gonna name their names, but Scranton Brothers. They snaked that deal out of me, like that first Celica being built to go 200.
Yeah.
Once it was done, they found their way to get in there and get in our scene, which the import family.
Right, it was small.
We're kind of like, NMRA Mustang guys. You guys got your crowd. We got our crowd.
Right.
Why are you getting in our sport?
Right.
It's because
that's where the money was.
GM, Mopar, NHRA Sport Compact.
That's where the fans were there.
Yeah, the fans and the money was. So now they started getting in our program, which.
So do you think big corporate sponsorship killed Sport Compact drag racing?
I think it did. I mean, that's the reason I stopped racing too. When my kid was born,
right?
Why would I spend all the money that I make going against GM, Mopar, right?
Yeah.
To go against them for what?
Yeah.
So I took my money and left. That's the reason I stopped, and I think it killed the sport because for some reason I think the rules too were
Rigged.
made to accommodate those teams.
Yeah.
I mean, we had 45-minute rounds in NHRA.
Yep.
We didn't even have transmissions back then.
Right.
We only had, what's the place you used to work at? That made the
ProDrive.
ProDrive.
Yeah.
We only had ProDrive spools.
ProDrive spools.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
you
it.
ran ProDrive spool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sold to you.
So
I
we
think I
only ran
gave to
that.
you. I think you were one of my sponsored guys, right?
I got it from Lisa.
You got
guys
from Lisa?
sponsored Lisa and Lisa.
Yeah.
Me and Lisa were teammates.
Yeah.
But
I gave
that's
her.
all we had.
I gave
We
them.
didn't have gear sets, right?
Not yet. No, we had gears.
I
We
didn't
just started
have. I
having
think
gears.
I quit at that time when you guys started having gears. That's 2003. I quit.
No, I think we were just making
You
gears.
guys just had the final drive and the spool.
We had the final drives. Yeah, we weren't doing. We were working on gears.
Yeah, so
And then I left them before we can bring the gears to market.
45-minute rounds. But imagine the gears now. Oh my God, PPGs is making a killing.
Oh my God,
right?
it's crazy.
But 45-minute rounds. If we break a tranny, we'd be lucky to replace that tranny in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
GM
Oh, we could do it.
GM was
Yeah.
replacing motor and transmission every round.
Right.
Are you gonna tell me you're gonna want to compete against those guys?
Yeah.
They brought a whole 18-wheeler just on a motor program on top of their teams.
I think that killed the new drivers wanting to come into it. I think that started drying up, right? Because no one could, and you see that with, I'm looking at that with like bigger motorsports or with Formula Drift and whatnot, and you see when you can like I could dream Battle of the Imports or IDRC. Anyone can dream that they can come and put the time and the money and be innovative enough and beat somebody. And people did.
Yeah. Bergenholtz.
Bergenholtz came in.
I gave those guys props for their budget to kick those guys.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. But I got out of it way after seeing, before all that happened, I got out.
Yeah.
But I give Bergenholtz props for competing and sticking it to them.
Yeah.
For the budget that they have.
But then there was too many competing series.
Yeah.
There was and all of those, like NIRA, IDRC, NHRA, Nopi, you can't, and they were all cutting each other's throats.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to be on the East Coast
on
the same weekend that you're going to need to be on the West Coast? It just got to, and then so the
if
cars.
they would have worked with each other, it would have
Yeah.
been good. Because if we were already in New Jersey and you set up another race after that would have been good. But they try to go against each other.
The fans would have gone, and
but
everyone.
NHRA too was, I think NHRA intentionally did that, and that's why they bought NIRA, just shut them down.
Shut them down, yeah.
The corporate. Because NHRA knows how big the money is in corporate wise, so that's why I think they just.
Yeah. Well, they're thinking they're the big swinging set on the block.
Yeah.
So, they figure that their series is going to be the best series ever.
So that's when I walked away from the sport and walked away from cars. 2003. My daughter was born. My second daughter was born.
I walked away from cars too. I sold my Integra. I didn't sell my CRX, but I sold my Integra, and I bought a sailboat, and I tried to sail around the world.
Damn.
And I figured, you get those moments where you're like, is this really what I want to do?
That's crazy.
And I got rid of a bunch of all my old parts. I kept a lot of the really important ones, but I got rid of my garage is like just a junkyard of just all nice. I probably had like 25 B16s, and I sold all that stuff and sailed around the world. And everywhere I went, cars found me. I found drifters in like Australia, and I found like Singapore. I met like a whole group of like S chassis guys, and we went drifting and cruising around. And everywhere I went, I found cars. Cars found me.
Yep. So
And I came back. I ended up sailing the boat in Thailand, and I came back from that trip, and I ended up going to Japan and getting a job driving K cars in Japan because I couldn't afford to fly home because it was a $300 flight from Australia to Japan.
Yeah.
And so, it found me. So I feel like at this point, if you're still filling cars, that's your thing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It never left you.
Now I'm having fun teaching these young guys.
Yeah.
Just doing what I did, and hopefully something good comes out of it.
I want to see you drive. Set a date, man. Some IFO or something, man.
I don't think I'll pass the physical going 190 miles and 189. Right?
Nah, just bring something out to like Irwindale or something.
Yeah.
Just something to play with.
Yeah, we have one car right now we bought just for practice. EP. It's an EP3.
Yeah.
Makes 450, 500. Good start.
Just come out and play, man.
So we might play with that one. But damn, man,
tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday.
Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Good test tomorrow.
Jeff's running tomorrow too. Indo Jeff's running tomorrow.
At Irwindale.
At Irwindale, yeah.
Okay.
I raced this at Irwindale.
I wish I freaking man.
Do you know
what?
that?
The biggest mistake I have too, though, I sold my Yukon, so now we can't pull any car around. I got an open trailer, I got a car, but now we need a truck to pull it around. So I gotta figure that out.
Somebody will tell you.
Yeah.
Somebody some pick up Miles' car and take him to Irwindale. Somebody.
I know, man.
It's time to play again, man. I spent a lot of time not driving something. I put all my time into this.
Yeah.
And so now it's like I'm getting stuff running again. I'm doing a little K-swap on my S13.
I'm educating those kids, though. Every time we go to the track, we don't have a car yet, but I kind of tell them everything, pre-stage, stage, stuff to do.
Hey,
so hopefully
when you get in the car, because when I
paid $3,000 for that dang freaking drag racing school, Roy School, so I'm
know
trying
what
to
do.
I'm trying to pass it down.
Yeah, but when you get in the car, because when I travel, when I go places, people are usually like, "Hey, drive my car." Everyone's like, "Drive my car," and I'm like, "Man, that's a lot of responsibility."
Right.
But I'm driving some of these like really fast K cars and just doing street passes and how like it feels like no time has passed. So when you get back in that seat, no, don't even think that, because when you get back in that seat, it feels like home. Okay, and I know if you think about it, you're like, it's been a long time, but literally, it feels like no time has passed.
You know why I got that feeling? Because every time I let somebody drive my car, crashed. Every car I've had that I thought they can drive better than I broke or crashed.
Yeah.
Even my street cars.
Oh, shoot.
Even 2 street cars. I go to Vegas, come back, wrecked. And my insurance guy's like, dude, you can't be lending any cars out anymore.
Yeah, no more.
Yeah.
Your punch card is full.
Yeah, he goes, you can't be lending cars out anymore because it's like.
Yeah.
So now that's why he's like, if somebody lets me drive their car, I'm like.
Yeah, just drive your own, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So we got one, and then that 9th gen, we got to finish that this year, man. That's why I have it in my board night thing, our New Year's resolution, race or quit. Done.
Yeah, that's your resolution?
Yeah.
All right.
You got to race or done.
Well, let's follow up. I want to see you out there. Let me know. I'll bring some cameras. We'll have some fun.
That'll be cool, man.
We'll bring the bus and, I don't know.
The kids. All about the kids. It is.
Yeah.
The generation.
I'll bring my daughter out. You know what I mean? We'll bring the kids out.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, yeah. Cool, man. Well, it's been good sitting down with you. Any other points? Any other like advice you want to give this younger generation? Anything you want to say, to the people, who've been with you the whole way or who are just now learning about you because it's a younger generation or whatnot? Anything you want to say to them?
Stick to what you're good at. That's one of the advice that I wish I followed.
Mm-hmm.
And don't chase the numbers.
Yeah.
Don't chase the money, because if you find something you love doing, and you get good at it and you love doing it, you probably don't have to work a day in your life.
Cool.
The money will just come in. I mean, it's you love it. It'll take care of itself.
Yeah, good. Any shout outs? Anyone you want to shout out to?
Shout out to my kids, my daughters. They're all moved out.
Yeah.
And who else? Well, that's about it. And shout out to the people that owes me something. Go pay me back or something so I can go back racing.
Yeah, pay Miles back. If you owe Miles anything, pay him back.
All good.
All right, cool. Well, this has been another episode of Burning Tires. I'm your host, Greg Leone, and this is our guest, Miles BAUTISTA. Thank you for being here, brother. I really appreciate that. This has been a great show. Great time sitting down talking with you.
This is awesome.
Yeah. All right, and we're out. Cool, man. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem, man. That was fun, huh?
Freaking
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I probably want to interview the freaking just
Hour 50.
talk shit.
We did an hour 50. That's a good interview. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share.